Right, hello everyone and welcome to this new video on the channel. So today we've got the final predictions video for the 24-25 season, and this time it is the turn of the Premier League. So it's going to be an interesting one this year with obviously the three teams that came up going down last season. City winning the 4th title in a row. So is any of that going to change this year? We're about to find out. So without further ado, let's get into the video. Just before we get started, if I could ask a huge favour from you guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to the channel and like this video, whether you're an old or new follower. Let's aim for 30 likes on this video, but anyway, enough about that stuff. Let's get started with the predictions. So we're going to go from top to bottom, so 20th to first place. So we're going to start off with the team who I think are going to finish last, and someone's got to finish last, unfortunately, and I am going to go for Southampton. I just think that they probably have got the weakest squad coming up, and I just think we're going to get found out a bit. I think it's going to be a bit like when Burnley came up the season, last season, and then they just conceded too many goals. I think it's going to be similar to that. Russell Martin plays very, very good attacking football, and I thought when he first came in, I said they look very good going forwards. They just need to tighten the defence up a bit, and to be fair, they did that in the Championship, but doing it in the Premier League with the style of football he plays is another level. I just think it's going to be a tough season for Southampton, and unfortunately, I think they're going to go back down. And also going back down in 19th place, I've gone for Leicester City. We're going to be starting with a points deduction. Not too sure how big that's going to be as of yet, but it's going to be tough when it's going to be hard enough to survive. Anyway, I don't mind Steve Cooper as a manager, to be fair, but I think he's got a tough job on his hands with him selling the best player, Dewsbury Hall, and the squad's just not as strong as when we were in Premier League last time. Obviously, they've lost the manager to Chelsea. It's going to be a tough task for Leicester. Obviously, we've had Jamie Vardy scoring goals for him. I think he's 38 now, so it's going to be tough for for him to keep going, which, let's be honest, he probably isn't going to be doing this season, unless he proves me wrong. But I just don't feel like the squad's anywhere near as strong as it has been in previous years, and I think we're going to find it very tough. So with this last pick, I really didn't know whether to go with my head or my heart. My head's telling me it's going to be the same three who came up who's going to go back down, but my heart's telling me it's not going to be. I really, really hope it's not, for the sake of the league, for the sake of the Championship, and the whole EFL, to be fair. I really do hope that one of the teams that comes up does survive, but I'm going to go with my head, unfortunately. So I'm going to go with Ipswich finishing in 18th. I think it's going to be tough. Like I say, I've had back-to-back promotions, a lot of success in a short amount of time, and it's been with a lot of the same players, to be fair. They have added to the squad, bringing in quite a few, decent incomings, but it's going to be a very, very tough act to follow. Obviously, we've got Kieran McKenna in charge, and I think we're going to ride off quite a bit of momentum from the last 2 years. But it's going to be such a tough ask. The gap between Prem and EFL is just getting bigger and bigger, and I think we're going to find it too tough, and I think, unfortunately, they're going to go down. Which means just surviving in 17th, I've gone for Brentford. Now, obviously, there's a lot of rumours in the air whether Tony is going to be there next season. However, they did play a lot of last season without him anyway, so I don't think it's going to, it'll affect him. I don't think they'll do as well if he's not there, but I don't think it'll be as catastrophic as people think. But obviously, they fell off a bit last season compared to the seasons before that. And it just feels like they've had a very steep incline. It feels like they are on a bit of a decline now. I don't think they'll go down. I think they'll just about survive, but I think it is going to be tough for them. In 16th, I've gone for Nottingham Forest. I think they'll do better than last year. I know it's only one place higher than finished last year, but I think they'll be a lot more comfier and survive a lot easier than they did the season before. They've not got a bad squad for us, to be fair, and I think they'll be a lot better than last year. I just feel like, they'll I feel like they had a poor year last year, a bit of an unsettled year, but I think they'll be stronger this year. 15th, I've gone for Wolves. I think the squad's overachieved a bit under Gary O'Neill, and that is credit to O'Neill, to be fair, because he's done a fantastic job with these lot. I thought they'd be in big trouble last year and go down, but they proved me wrong and survived, very easily. And I don't think they'll be really in any trouble this year either. I don't think they'll have as good a season as they had last year, but I think they'll survive pretty comfortably. 14th, I've gone Fulham. I think, pretty steady bottom half season again for Fulham. I really like the signing of Emile Smith-Rowe. I think he's going to be a very, very good player for Fulham. Unlucky, like I say, with injuries and, just the depth that Arsenal's got, that, we never got into the squad, but I think he will do really well for Fulham. And I think, I think they'll be a decent team. Not really pushing towards the top half, but in absolutely no trouble of going down. 13th, I've gone for Everton. Obviously, they had the points deductions last year, which meant we would have finished higher. But the one problem I've got with Everton are where the goal's going to come from. I mean, Calvert-Lewin can't keep fit, unfortunately, and there is rumours he might be going elsewhere as well. Onana out of the squad removes quite a bit of creativity. I think they'll be pretty sound defensively, even if Braithwaite goes. I think they'll, you know what Dyche is like. I don't think they'll concede too many goals, but I just don't see where the goals are going to come from. In 12th place, I've gone for Bournemouth. I think Solanke is going to be a big miss for him. That's a lot of goals that they're taking out of their team, but there seems to be a club going in the right direction. Bournemouth have got a good manager, a decent squad as well, who, they seem a pretty good unit together. And, I think they'll, even without Solanke, I think they'll do pretty well, to be fair, and I think we'll be around the same position as last year. In 11th, I've gone for Crystal Palace. Like I say, any other season, 11th place is, a very good finish, but obviously they came 10th last year, so they'll feel like it's a bit of a drop-off, but I don't see it like that, to be fair. I think, like I say, Elise has gone. That's going to be a big miss. And like I say, if we can keep hold of, I know Gueye's linked with Newcastle and a few other clubs, there's going to be people sniffing around other players as well. If we can keep the core squad, they'll have a very, very good season. But obviously, take a few players out of that squad who did so well for you last year, it can cause a few problems. And like I say, I like the manager. I really like the squad as well. I do hope, they get a top half finish. But I just think it's going to be hard. But I still think we're going to have a good year, nevertheless. 10th place, I've gone for West Ham United. Always tricky where to put West Ham. Obviously, they are without David Moyes now. I really like the signing of Somerville. He's going to be, very interesting to watch against these Premier League defences. But yeah, I think they'll do all right, West Ham. I think they'll get a top half finish. And I don't think they'll be chasing down any of the European places, don't get me wrong. But, I think it'll be a steady season. In 9th, I've gone for Brighton. Now, I was going to put these lower down, but I think they will. I don't want to say all right because I was finished 6th a few seasons ago, but I think they'll be back kind of to putting pressure on, the teams, the top 8 we'd expect it to be. I think they'll be the best of the rest, if that makes sense. Obviously, got a new manager and a bit of an unknown. It's going to be interesting to see how he does, but we've got a pretty good squad, Brighton. They always seem to. The players that they lose, they tend to replace pretty well. You saw though last season that they had a bit of a fall off with that, but I think they'll kind of, like I said, they've had a massive incline for a few years. They had a bit of a drop last year. I think this year they'll kind of steady the ship a bit and get a 9th place finish. Okay, they're moving into the top 8. So which team is going to miss out on Europe? So it's been very, very tricky between a few teams, to be honest with you. But in the end, in 8th place, I have gone for Aston Villa. Now, I didn't want to pick Aston Villa in 8th, I really didn't, but it's going to be tricky to maintain the standards that they had last season, to be fair. 4th were absolutely unbelievable. And we're going to be playing in the Champions League now. I mean, in the Conference League, until you get to the latter stages, you can maybe, play your fringe players in the group stages and stuff like that, but in the Champions League, you're up against top teams every time, and it's not going to be that easy. We've got a massive choice to make with who we're going to play when, and I mean, Emery's a master of that. He's won several Europa Leagues with Sevilla, and but yeah, I just think it's going to have a bit of a knock-on effect. I mean, same happened with Newcastle. They went from 4th to 7th. I know they had trouble with injuries. I'll get onto them very soon, but I do think, I do think it's going to be tough. I still think we'll have a very good season, don't get me wrong, but I think they are going to drop off a bit from last season, and I've got them in 8th. In 7th place, I've gone for Chelsea. What on earth is going on at Chelsea at the minute? It seems a madhouse. They've just signed their 8th goalkeeper, which is bonkers, to be honest with you. The whole Gallagher situation is nuts. It just seems like a massive whirlwind at Chelsea at the minute. There is no stability, no one's settled. What on earth is going on? I mean, with the manager situation with Enzo coming in, who knows? He won title with Leicester. He made it look a lot harder than it needed to be. But I'll give him a chance and see how he does with that squad. But it just seems impossible to get anything done with that squad because things are changing all the time. There's no, like I say, just no one's got time to settle or anything. I mean, I was amazed they got 6th last year. It was for that amazing run at the end of the season, but I think other teams around them are strengthening. I think, eventually, you know, all this switching up is going to catch up to you, and I think they're going to get 7th. In 6th place, I've gone for Newcastle United. Now, I did originally have Newcastle as my 8th place team, but I think part of me is kind of hoping that Eddie Howe gets the England job, and that's why I kind of had him in 8th. But as of now, he is still there. He had quite a lot of injury problems last year, and obviously Tonali's back in the squad now. He's eligible to play, and we've got, you know, some injured players back, and yeah, I think they'll have a better year this year. They've got no European football either, which is going to, you know, help massively. We're not having to play, you know, midweek as often as the teams around them, and yeah, I think as long as they keep Eddie Howe and majority of the squad, I think they'll bounce back into Europe, to be honest with you. In 5th place, just missing out on the top 4, I've gone for Tottenham. I think they're going to have a better year this year. They seem to, you know, be there or be thereabouts, but I think they are just going to miss out again, but I think it is going to be a more positive year. I think the only reason I've not got them in the top 4 is I think the other teams are going to be stronger. But like I say, Solanke is going to be an interesting signing. Going to be interesting to see how he does for Tottenham, and a few others as well. So yeah, I think, like I say, I know we finished similar last year, and I know I'm saying we're going to have a better year this year. I just think things are going to be more positive. I think we're going to start going in the right direction a bit, and then we could potentially push for a top 4 finish next season. Moving into the top 4 then, in 4th place, I've gone with Liverpool. Now, I've had these third pretty much all through my predictions. I drafted a prediction about a month before I did this, and they've been in third the whole time, but I just think the defence, to be honest with you, going forward, they looked incredible. I watched them last weekend against Sevilla, but you just feel at the back, you know, teams can punish them, and Sevilla only did that once. I feel like some better teams will do that a lot more. I know they split the squad in half, and you know, the others played in another friendly behind closed doors, but still, I just think the defensive side does worry me a bit. But yeah, attacking wise, we're gonna hope to score more than they concede, and obviously it's a bit of a transition year with Arne Slot coming in as well after so many years of Jurgen Klopp. So yeah, I can feel a bit of a transitional year. I think I'll still stay in the top 4, don't get me wrong, but you know, it might be a bit of a tough season as compared to the last few years. In 3rd place, I've gone for Manchester United. I think we'll see a bit of a bounce from Man U this year, to be honest with you. That FA Cup basically saved Ten Hag his job. I feel like it would have been very harsh if we got rid of him, and I think, you know, they'll start to progress a bit, Man U. I don't think they'll be challenging the top 2, but I think they will be back in the top 4, and yeah, I've like quite a bit of a business as well and stuff like that. I feel like they'll have a lot better year this year, Man United. Moving into the top 2 then, is going to be 5 in a row, or Arsenal are going to clinch the first league title in over 20 years. I can't see how else than 5 in a row, unfortunately. I'm going Arsenal second and City first. Arsenal, I think it's so hard to say, like, are they going to close the gap or what, because that gap is so close again. I think it's going to be about the same, to be honest with you. I feel like City have got that momentum behind them, but you are, like I say, they've won it so many times that they're going to get a bit complacent. I think they're going to win one more. I think the year after, I think Arsenal might challenge them. You never know, a few other clubs might catch them up. But yeah, the only reason I can see City getting beat is if they get complacent. But I don't think Pep will let them do that. I think they'll be wanting to go for all the records. So yeah, like I say, I like Arsenal. I hope they do it, but I have got them second, and I've got City winning the league. Okay, so they're my predictions then, so I'll put my full table just to the side of me here. Let me know yours, who's getting Champions League, who's going to finish 5th to 7th and get Europa League and Conference League, who's going down, and who is your dark horse. So anyway, they are all my predictions done for this season then, so I have made a playlist, which I'll link just above my head, so you can check out how bad or how good I have done throughout the season. But anyway, in terms of these predictions, I'm going to leave the video here, so thank you very much for watching. If you're new around here, please subscribe to the channel and like the video with an old or new viewer, and remember to follow my social media at Adam Gittings PT on pretty much everything. It's been fun doing these predictions, and I'm looking forward to seeing how I do at the end of the season. So until the next match day vlog, thank you very much for watching, take care, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.